is what kind of music did you listen to like growing up, and how do you think that like influenced your music choices for movies?
Yeah, my first recollection of music, I was born in 1954, okay, which is, of course, you can't even imagine what that's like, right? And you can do the math, yes, you can do the math and figure out how old I am. But I don't care, because I do my hair toss and check my nails. Okay, so I think my very first early recollection of music were things like the Beatles and the music of the 60s. When I first started to actually listen to music and appreciate it, even, as a kid playing football and all that, still there's always songs that you like. But I think I kind of really got into music in the 70s, okay? Because I graduated college in 1975. And I was a music major in college, and I think that in the 70s is when I really kind of discovered real, like music, how to create it and how to make it and really get into the theory of it all and so on and so forth in the 70s. But what was going on in the 70s was things like disco music and, and a lot of rock and roll and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I was like every other kid, just kind of listening to the radio 24/7. 24/7, okay.
Okay. Let's see. Maybe what was one thing that you failed at?
What thing I failed at?
Tricky question.
Nobody's ever asked me that. That's tricky. What did I fail at? I'll tell you what. I have an answer, okay?
Okay.
During my, creative years when I was writing music and all this kind of thing, I produced a bunch of records also. I was really a terrible record producer.
Okay.
I just wasn't very good at it because you need a lot of patience to be a really good record producer. You have to listen to these sounds over and over again. How do the drums sound? How do this? I just didn't have the patience. I wanted the whole thing to be finished. And it doesn't work like that. You got to spend hours and days and weeks and months, doing the same thing. I was never like a kid that could play with the same toy for forever.
Yeah.
I would play with a toy for 5 minutes and then want to play with a different toy. So I was a crappy record producer.
Okay. Well, that was a good answer. But, okay. And then I guess this is the last question. Jake was here in town, so I talked to him once I figured out I was going to do you for my profile. And he was talking a lot about you and your grandkids. Yeah. So I thought this would be a good question. How do you balance work and your family?
I think that you have to prioritize as best you can. Sometimes getting busy and not being around is unavoidable. Mm-hmm. And I was busiest, of course, when I was the head of music for Warner Brothers, and that's when I was the busiest. So what I did back then, when my kids were young, not my grandkids, but my kids were young, is I would have to travel a lot for my job at Warner. Sometimes we would record music in places like London and Prague and things like that. And on occasion, I would actually take my kids with me. I have 3 daughters, mm-hmm. and I would take them with me, sometimes one at a time, sometimes 2. And I would try to include them in as much of my activities as possible. I was involved with the Grammys for about 12 years, and every year I went to the Grammy Awards, and I would take them to the Grammy Awards. And so I tried to, I knew I had to do both, and I tried to combine the two. It's a good thing I was in the music business, something that the kids enjoyed and liked. Mm-hmm. Imagine if I was in some boring business. Then I would have really been tough. But they weren't going to say no to the Grammy, so that was cool.
Yeah.